Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to shoot this video to talk about how to build momentum and drive your network marketing business. Now, I'm just going to go through the numbers here real quick for you to help you understand what it actually takes and give you sort of a 30,000 foot view. First thing I want to talk about is hitting your hot market. So your hot market are the people that love you the most, that trust you the most, that you would have the most fun spending $1 million if you had to split it 10 ways. Who are those people? Who are your money-making buddies? Who are the people that will go with you anywhere? So you want to show 10 of them. Maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your brother, maybe it's your cousin, your best buddy from high school, whatever it is, show your 10. And out of the top 10 people, 4 will usually say no, and 6 on average will say yes, and they will join you. Now, most people don't have a very big hot market list. So after you go through that, you got to get into your warm market list. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But here's the secret to having momentum and having a lot of success in your network marketing business is once you get your top 10 people exposed and you have 6 people join, what are you doing with each of them? You are helping them get in front of 10, getting you in front of, get in front of 10, get in front of 10. And you want to help them show their hot list of 10 people so that we can help them get their 6, and so on and so forth. So that's called building through. So the most important person in your business is you and the person that just joined. So you are immediately helping that person score, and your goal is to help them score in 24. All right, that's a little motto, and you want to keep that in the back of your mind, that the newest person, you want to do everything that you can to help them get somebody on board immediately. So what you want to do is schedule in a launch party for them within the next 3 days to a week. But even before that, you want to help them expose people to the information within 24 hours and try to get at least a couple meetings in there with their hot list so that you can get their first person on board. Again, it's imperative that you focus on score in 24. That's going to really put some fire to the build through. Now, the actual numbers are that to hit higher levels, yes, you do need to put in more personals. Okay? It's not a mandatory thing, but there are averages that we know. And if you know the averages, then you can work with the numbers. Now, out of your hot market, once you get into your warm market, your numbers are going to go down. You might get 1 or 2 out of 10 people, sometimes 3 or 4, sometimes 5. It depends on the quality of that warm market, and also it really depends on your credibility as an individual. All right? Someone who is very credible is going to get better results than someone who doesn't have very good credibility with their contacts. Credibility can be established, and it's not imperative, but it is essential if you want to be able to have a lot of success. So if you don't have a lot of credibility with your contacts, then it's definitely something where we need to work on that with you. Now, getting back into the warm market numbers, let's just assume you get 1 or 2 out of 10 people that you expose into this. Immediately when they sign up, you're going to go through their hot numbers, their hot market, okay, and help them go through their hot market until that's spent out, and then you go into the warm market. But if you think about this, the average directors put in about 20 some odd personals with World Ventures. The average marketing directors put in about 32 personals. The average international marketing director, the highest level, the average IMD is put in at least 53 personals. Okay, so within the first 2 months, you can expect to see sometimes it can be around 10% of the people who get on board might drop out just because it's not for them, and that's okay. Like literally, people will quit everything all the time. A quitter's job is to quit. Don't get hung up on the quitters. All you want to do is replace a quitter with someone better and never think about the quitter ever again. So what you want to focus on, again, is the numbers, the activities. And if you think about how can you hit the highest levels to the point where you get to a level like director, for example, where the income becomes substantial. It's something where all of a sudden you start wondering whether this is a plan B or maybe it can be your plan A, right? So at that point, you know you have to have at least 20 personals, but I put in about 25 or so before I hit, actually I think about putting in 22 before I hit the level of director. I went and hit it hard, I hit it fast, and I get a bunch of people on board. So if you are showing just 1 or 2 people a week, which is what most people do the math on those numbers and tell me how fast you're going to ever have success. Because your business will probably grow as slow as molasses moves in February in the Arctic. In other words, it's not going to grow very fast at all. All right? 1 or 2 people a day, it's like, that's kind of like playing the lottery and expecting to win big. It can happen. And hey, the only way to win the lottery is to buy a ticket, and that's essentially what you're doing if that's the only amount of people that you're showing each week. So what you want to focus on, and this is the secret from some of the most successful, just focus on 3 exposures a day. Now, that doesn't mean you need to talk to 3 people per day yourself and brand new people. You can focus on 3 meetings or 3 exposures per day through your team. For example, yesterday I did a meeting, and I also had a meeting with 2 meetings with someone else who was in my team. So I did 3 exposures. You need to get caught up in the process. It's about the numbers. It's not about the quality so much as it is the quantity of exposures. If you talk to the most amount of people, you will eventually find your aces. Now, out of 10 people that you put in personally, you're going to see 2 that will actually take big action, and maybe another 2 that will take small action, and the rest, the number 6, might not do very much at all, if anything. They'll kind of go and sit there, they'll show up for events, and like, again, it's the 80-20 rule in life. Most people will not do very much. They like the idea, they like the community, they love the idea of the product works for them, and they'll usually become a happy customer, but you got to look at the actual real numbers. Okay? So, out of all of the people that you expose, you have to realize that most of them who join won't take the actions necessary to build this as a business. So we're looking for the few that choose. It's not about the chosen few. It's simply the few that choose. So if you go through all of those numbers and you really start to break it down, if you focus on 3 exposures per day, you're going to be able to hit those numbers. That's basically, just to save you the math, if you just focus on at least 3 exposures a day, and those don't have to be 2-hour-long meetings. It can be a simple 30-minute meeting, 30-minute coffee, 30-minute webinar. 30 minutes, guys, is all it really takes to do an exposure. So let me ask you a question. Do you have 2 to 3 hours a day that you can put towards your business? And if you don't, I want to help you understand that you have those 3 hours available to you. Everybody does, because I was working 15 hours a day, 12 to 15 hours every single day, 7 days a week before I got involved with this, and I still found the time. So no one can say I'm too busy. It's just being more effective with your time management, and let's get serious. It's about your priorities. So I want to ask you this question. If there's nothing that you are currently doing right now at this point in your life that can help you get between $5,000 or $30,000 per month residually, which means money that's going to keep coming in all the time, every single month after month. If there's nothing that you're currently doing that can get you between $5,000 and $30,000 in the next 2, 3, or 4 years, then what you need to focus on is making this a higher level of priority. And the reason I'm saying this is because most people who are watching this, 95% of you who are watching this right now, your retirement plan, your pension plan sucks. It's not going to work for you. You will become very, very impoverished in your older years. It's just a fact. I'm not saying anything negative to anybody. I'm just talking to you about the actual statistics. The numbers are out there, guys. 95% of North Americans will fail at retirement. They do not have a plan. They have no savings that can equal a good enough living, and their pensions will pay them barely enough to just get by, just scraping by the edge of their teeth, by the skin of their teeth. It is not a cool thing. So you should be planning out something that's going to help you get there. So you need to focus on residual income. It's super, super important. Now, what are you going to be able to do with all of this extra cash flow? I highly recommend that you talk to a great financial advisor, get some investments going on, get some things and some assets that can help protect you down the road. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to talk to you about how to get that cash flow, how to get that residual income. It's worth the work. So if it took you 2-3 years, a small little season of your life, to be able to even just make $5,000 a month residually, isn't that worth it? Wouldn't that be worth all of the 2-3 hours a day? Because here's what I know about you right now, is your job isn't paying you $5,000 a month residually, it's a job. If you're not there, you're not making money. Wouldn't you rather have residual income? So I'm gonna leave that with you right now, and I'm gonna say, listen, up your activity level, cut the excuses, take massive action, okay? We all have struggles in life. You're not alone. And if you think that you're special or different and that your challenges are exceptionally difficult or unique, I beg to differ, and I'm going to tell you that there are people who are at the highest level of this business who had disasters happening in their life, who came out of total poverty or nightmarish circumstances, and they share their story with people on stage. So if you're justifying not taking action because of your story that you're telling yourself, that's why you need to get to an event. That's why you need to show up to boot camp. That's why you need to show up at the regional training events, because you need to hear the stories of the people who've been through what you're going through right now and overcame it. Because if you're playing the victim card, it's not going to work for you. You have to be accountable and responsible, and there are things that you can do. There are shifts that you can make. It's just a matter of how bad do you want it. Because in 3 years, are you going to be in the exact same place that you are right now, or are you going to be in a place where you actually finally realize time and financial freedom? You're not alone if it's hard. It's always going to be difficult. You are going to get a lot of people to say no. I've gone through weeks where I went through meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, 2-3 meetings a day, and I pretty much had everybody say no to me, and all of a sudden I got all the yeses. But I had the vision, and I knew that eventually if you just go through the numbers, if you just go through the process, it has to work. It literally has to work. It's just a number of math. It's just a mathematical formula. If you show enough people, eventually you'll get your aces who will show up. It's like sifting and sorting. You got to go through. You got to build deep inside your organization. You got to help the person who just joined. They're the most important person, and get them fired up to taking action. Because most people will lose their romance phase with every single business that they ever get involved with after 4 months. 3. Let's get serious. The honeymoon phase, when people are all excited and they're like, yeah, I'm going to call everybody, and they take massive action, but all of a sudden they actually start hitting the numbers. They get the rejections, and all of a sudden their activity level goes down because like, oh, well, I'm running out of people to talk to. I don't know who to talk to anymore. I got so many no's. My friend said no. My best friend said no. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't think it's for me. It's not going to work for me. Yes, it is. You just didn't go through the numbers. You've got to be consistent. What you do compounds over time with this. And so all I know is that you've got to be able to stay excited. I've gone through way more no's than anybody watching this video who's doing this business right now, I can promise you. That's why I'm also having more successes, because I just go through the process. I understand how it works. But now at this point, I got an awesome level of residual income, which has started to be able to buy my time back, and it's only growing because more and more people see the vision. But if you understand, what's going to help you get the vision is understanding the numbers. You got to go through the process. We've got a lot of rock stars in this team. And if you're building your business and you're going through the numbers, the people who are in your business are going to stick around because they see you taking action. The speed of the leader dictates the speed of the team. And I really want you to understand that the speed of the leader will dictate the speed of the team. People are going to do what you do, not what you say. So if you aren't out there taking massive action, then everybody in your team is going to think that that's how they build this business, that they just should sit around and maybe do 1 or 2 exposures a week. But that will never work out well for you. So work the numbers, understand that it does take a time commitment. You will have to make some sacrifices if you really want to make this thing go. Otherwise, hey, like, there's nothing wrong with just being a happy customer or making a little bit of money. There's nothing wrong with that. But I know that if you're watching this right now, especially if you're in it for this long, there's something inside of you that wants more change. There's something inside of you that wants a better life. There's something inside of you that wants more. You want to be able to provide for your family. You want to have time freedom. You want to have financial freedom. We're not alone in this. And here is a very simple path, but like any other business, it takes time, and you've got to work on your skills in order to get good enough to make this thing happen for you. So it's all about your skill set. Keep practicing. Every time you go and get another no, it's another yes in your practice, because no is just no for now. There's no such thing as a no forever. It just means not right now for that person. But are you going to let their no or their argument or their objection stop you from achieving your dreams? Really? I don't think so. I think your dreams are bigger. And if they're not big enough to overcome an obstacle, to overcome a couple people's rejections, when's that ever going to change for you? Right? Your life is more important than another person's opinion of you. So you got to be willing to sacrifice wanting to be so cool so that you can end up being so rich. Trust me, it's better to be rich than cool. But most people, they will not be willing to take a temporary hit to their social esteem so that they can get the life that they want. Because they're not willing to go through the no's. They're not willing to go through your rejections. So I'm going to leave that with you guys. I know this is a little bit of a longer video. Go through the numbers. Make sacrifices. Look at your life. Where are you wasting time? Where are you spending time on Facebook? I mean, look, it's cool. If you don't want to make any changes, that's cool too. But just remember this thing, because as your life goes on, you're going to feel more and more weight of this, is that your comfort zone is equal to your wealth zone. So if you are not getting yourself uncomfortable, if you are not reaching out to people you don't know and making connections, if you're not pushing yourself to grow in that, then your wealth will not grow either within this industry. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable. It doesn't matter if it's real estate, it doesn't matter if it's network marketing, it doesn't matter if it's online marketing, it doesn't matter what the industry or the business is. If you want to get it, you've got to be able to go through the process and become that person. So you might be terrified of reaching out to a stranger that you don't know today and building a relationship, talking to them, asking them about their life, seeing how things are going for them, finding out what kind of things they're interested in, inviting them out to a presentation. You might be scared to death about doing that, but I promise you, so is everybody else at the beginning. And eventually, you get good at it. Now, you've also got to be willing to suck, right? Be willing to suck so that you can become great. If you're okay with that, then rock on. But up your activity levels, guys. Up your activity levels, because it is really about numbers. You got to go through the numbers and building those relationships with people. You're going to learn a lot about human psychology in this, I promise you. So that's my message for today, guys. God bless. I hope you rock your businesses. Remember, just focus on 3 a day. How can you get creative? How can you make that happen? Are you doing them for your team? Are you doing them by yourself? Make sure you always get your upline there with you to do a presentation with you or for you. Make sure you, if that's not possible, that you get that 3-way phone call at the end. The third-party validation is essential for growth. So, take care, guys. Enjoy this message and put it to use. Take care.